Hey everyone! So, about 3 weeks ago, I went up to the north of Ireland to try and find Pablo, my Colombian Rainbow Boa, some potential future girlfriends. The trip took about 5 hours in total, which is really, really long for an Irish trip because the entire country is not that big. And we ended up coming home with two baby Colombian Rainbow Boa females. So, when they're old enough, I'll be probably using them to breed with Pablo. So these are the two babies here. I got them in these tubs from the seller, and I'm most likely going to leave them in these tubs for the first couple of weeks because it's something familiar to them, and I can just add in some clutter, hides, a water bowl, etc. so that they feel safe and secure. Baby Colombian rainbow boas require a very high humidity of roughly 90 to 95%. And because of that, I'm thinking these tubs be great as well because instead of putting them into a rack, I can leave these lids on to keep the humidity up, and so I can keep an eye on whether or not it needs an extra misting or an extra spray down. First thing I want to do after getting animals, especially from a trip this long, is to just check in on them. So this is the first baby, and as you can see, they're alert, they're awake, they're looking around, they're doing the little tongue flicks and the blah blahs, and they seem overall in a very good, healthy shape. Make sure anytime you're getting a new reptile, whether you're getting it chipped or if you're collecting it yourself, etc., to give it time to settle. So with these guys, I'm not going to handle them, I'm not going to try to pick them up, I'm not going to try and stress them too much. I'm literally just going to observe them, put in some hides and some leaves and stuff for them to hide so they feel safe, and that's it. I'll feed them, and I'm not going to touch them for at least a month or so because they're babies and I'm worried they're going to stress too easily. You don't have to wait a month, I just prefer myself to give them that chance to establish themselves and get comfortable in their surroundings before this big scary hand comes swooping in to try and grab them. Here we can see the second baby, and they're not as out and open as the first one. They're not moving around as much. They're kind of hidden and curled up because obviously they're a bit spooked. They were having a great time in their house and suddenly they've been abducted and moved very far away by a stranger. So I'm going to move the moss just a little bit to make sure I get a reaction. And I can see they're moving, so they're definitely alive, and that's good enough for me for now. If any of you have seen pictures or videos of my other Colombian rainbow boa, Pablo, he's a patternless, so he doesn't have these dark markings like these two have. He's on entirely sort of light brown colour, and the rainbow shows up really well on him and his scales, his iridescence. Whereas these guys, they've got dark markings on them, and you can see the rainbow very clearly in person. It's just more difficult to find it on the camera for some reason, which is very, very frustrating. As they get older and they're a bit bigger and I will be handling them and making them get used to that, I'll be able to get much better pictures and videos of the rainbows on them because you'll be able to bring them into the sunlight and you'll be able to get more angles of the curves on them is usually where you see the rainbows. So I can't wait for that when they're older. Next thing I have to do is I'm going to give them some clutter and hides. So first thing I'm going to put in is obviously a water bowl. These guys require high humidity, so this water might actually evaporate fairly quickly and I can just keep that up, like topped up, and it'll make my job a whole lot easier. Next, I'm going to get a hide. So like I use for my leopard geckos and everyone else, I like to use these little sort of holders. They're for putting underneath a potted plant so the water doesn't fall out of it. And I just cut off the sides with scissors and then use a match to go over it so that it goes nice and smooth and there's no sharp edges. And it makes a perfect little hide for a small snake or a lizard. After that, I'm just going to throw in some leaves, and these I'm going to clutter it up quite a bit so that there's lots of hiding places, because on the ground level where the snake actually is, there's going to be plenty of room to move around. This is more like giving him a little bit of a ceiling or a canopy, if you get me. So he's going to have plenty of cover over him to make sure that he doesn't feel afraid or feel like he might get attacked by a bird or a predator from above. Hiding places are especially important with young snakes just to prevent stress, because a stressed snake can often refuse food and not grow as quickly or become sickly. We're then going to do the exact same thing for the other guy, and I've sped it up just a little bit so you don't have to wait around through this. As per usual, I am a coward and I thought the snake might try bite me, and I don't want to be bitten. It doesn't matter how small they are, I flinch really badly, and if I flinch, I'm really concerned that I'm going to end up hitting something, or my nail will hit them, or something bad. So I decided to improvise and I gave him a snecklace so that he could stay over that way, and I could put in his house. So all was well, he got a snack place, I didn't get bitten, everyone's happy. For feeding, these guys were on pinky rats. So I decided I was going to offer them food about 3 days after they'd settled, just so they had time to get used to their surroundings and the noises and smells of my house versus where they came from. And I think this guy is the guy who ate his food straight away, and the other one is a little more nervous and sort of reclusive and likes to hide a lot. And that guy still hasn't eaten, so I'm going to be actually doing an assisted feed later on today, so I'm hoping I may or may not manage to get that on video. And if I do, I'll show you, and I'll show you how to assist feed. But I'm just really hoping that that baby takes the food, because it's been 3 weeks now and he hasn't eaten yet. So both tubs are fully set up and they look like this. So they've got the water bowls in the corner and they've got loads of leaves and stuff to hide under. So they should be happy out, and then in a month or two I'll be upgrading them into a proper tank. So that's it for this video. I just wanted to update you on the new 2 snakes that I got and show you how to set up a baby snake's little tub. And yeah, no, that's it. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment them below, and if you like the video, give it a like or subscribe, and I will be uploading more soon. Thank you very much for watching.